Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Yamato and we're in a legendary match against two other legendaries out there. But while we can't really get into worrying about where the other legendaries are, we got to kind of take care of our side. Now, the first thing I always do when I log into these matches is I look and see who's around me, and I look and see who's on the enemy, or not necessarily who's on the enemy team, but what's up against me. So we know that they got a Gross Skurfers, we know that they got a Yamato, so one of them, if not both of them, are likely to spawn directly across from us. The game tends to put legendaries straight ahead of one another. Now, I have two Wichitas, both of which have spawned directly in front of me, and are going to charge forward and see how quickly they can throw their ships away. Now, while I do not necessarily hate the fact that they're moving forward, because we don't have a spotter on this side, so they kind of are the spotter. I'm not pushing forward because we don't know what's out there yet. If I push forward in this giant ship, I'll be caught off guard by whatever's out there, and I cannot get away. So my biggest advantage from spawning on this side with all these islands is to keep my distance, initially at least. Now the Alabama here is the better choice right at the moment because he's got accurate guns, and as he's pushing up on our two guys, I want to try to get rid of him. We get a good 7,000 damage off of him right off the bat, and you can see these guys are already taking hits. The good news is I'm detected, or at least when I am detected, I am going to be taking more hits from the people than they are. But people aren't going to let fire starters continue to do what they've been doing. The longer these fire starters control the matches, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You see that the fire starters are being countered by other fire starters. The longer that fire starters are allowed to sit in a match, the more damage that they rack up. Now you'll notice I'm starting to reconsider my position, and the reason is I've got 3 battleships pushing up on me, plus fire starters in the center of the map. I need to keep my distance. These guys have already lost half their hit points. Now you may have noticed that a Yudachi on our team is talking to me in chat right now. We've played together a couple different times, and usually on the opposite team, unfortunately, but in this one we happen to be on the same team. And watch what the team does. Like, our entire team just kind of sits together and does nothing. Now, I'm going to do everything I can to win my side, even though I'm going to be losing the 2 guys in front of me very, very quickly. They put themselves in a position they can't defend themselves, and they are going to absolutely pay the price for that. And this Iowa, charging into the center of the map, has put himself in a great position to be absolutely deleted by me. So we're going to try to make sure that that happens. Now, if he maintains course and we get some decent dispersion, that's not the kind of dispersion I was hoping for. But, doesn't matter, we do get 1 penetration and 1 citadel. Unfortunately, leaving him with half his health. Should have been a deletion, but, you know, RNG giveth, RNG taketh. That sort of thing. Now, because I was paying attention to this Iowa, I can't really help the guys that are on my side. I take a shot at the Iowa again. He has actually turned completely away and is starting to run away. And now we've lost the first Wichita. The second Wichita is not long for this world. The enemy Alabama and the Wichita are going to run right into one another, which, in the Wichita's, favor, it's not the worst thing he could do here. If you're not going to win the fight, heads up, so you might as well take him down with you. So, and that actually helps me out considerably. Just because he got rid of that Alabama. Now it means I am up against a Yamato and a Bismarck. Now, the Yamato is at a considerable distance. The Bismarck is trying to close the distance. And this is why I say that the Bismarck, the Tirpitz, the Gneisenauer, the German battleships that require you to close the distance don't work in World of Warships very often. and people give me grief about it all the time. But watch all I have to do. Now, first of all, I get it. I'm in a Yamato, so the hits that I'm going to be able to do to this Bismarck are pretty abysmal. But the premise is the same. You have to close the distance to be effective in those ships. If you die before you close the distance, it kind of defeats the purpose of the ship. Am I right? So, as you can see, I'm not worried about him at all. I'm gonna be bow tanking the Yamato that's in front of me, and I am sailing with a decent angle. I'm not flat broadside, obviously, because I know the Yamato can be citadel very, very easily, especially when giving up broadside. But the fact that he is trying to outmaneuver me is just not going to work in his favor. All this turning and trying to get his rear guns involved, you're playing with fire, man, and the Yamato's 18-inch guns reload in 25 seconds. You're not going to be able to outmaneuver me. Because I'm sitting there with 9 guns, 18-inch guns, begging you to go ahead and give me that broadside one last time. Now, he straightens up here, and I will say this. The Bismarck, when it's coming directly at you, in the Yamato, can be a bit of a struggle to finish off. The Yamato's horizontal dispersion really makes it hard to hit the Bismarck with big chunks from the front. And the reason I say that is because if you try to overmatch his bow, it tends to spread out just enough and hit the side armor and do nothing. If you hit his bow, you'll penetrate it, but if you don't, you're going to go off to the side and do next to nothing. Now there we take out one of his guns temporarily, and you can see a teammate hits him as well. And through all of this, there is an enemy cruiser pushing up on us, and the Yamato is still pushing up on us, but we're right at the edge of the range of the Yamato. So we're taking very little damage in return, and all we got to do is try to finish off this Bismarck. And in true Spartan fashion, we leave him with just enough health for someone else to steal the kill. Just the way it goes. But now that we've got the immediate threat gone, we are going to start pushing forward. Trying to get closer, get up in here to where we can actually get great shots at people and do what the Yamato does best, which is just remove people from existence. Now we're at 105,000 damage done. And notice our team that was all in the cap, literally our entire team was sitting in the base. They're not doing so well. Now this first shot against the Wichita wasn't quite lead enough, but it was a good enough hit that it got his attention anyway. Now the next thing that I'm about to do is going to be a little bit suspect, because I know that Yamato out there is just waiting for me to give up a good side shot, and that's what I'm about to give him. But I want to get rid of this Wichita, because if I don't, this Wichita will kill my Yadachi. So I need to get the Wichita first. And this shot looks much better as we get a Citadel and at least one penetration with 3 overpins. He's got no health left, and the Wichita is going to be able to actually win a gunfight against, or the Yadachi is actually going to win a gunfight versus a Wichita. Now, because I have the Yadachi still alive, that helps my chances out considerably. A 1v1 versus another Yamato is a gamble. You can win easily if you know what you're doing, but it comes down to who is the more experienced player. And generally speaking, in this sort of situation, I value my experience over what the enemy could potentially have. And you'll see that as I'm charging forward, I am constantly changing direction, changing my speed, and trying to make him miss me, because the fewer shells that I can have him land on me, the better. Meanwhile, he's not doing the same. He's sailing in reverse, and he's trying to turn, but he's not doing a very good job of it, and he's taking huge chunks of damage every time I fire my guns. And now that he is kind of distracted, he's on fire, he's being burned down by a Yadachi, which is hilarious, but he's being burned down by a Yadachi. I've been chunking him every time I hit him, and here we're going to get even cockier and throw the rear gun in there too, and just showcase to this guy that I am not afraid of him. I am fairly confident at this point that I have no chance of losing this fight against him. we're up to 177,000 damage done. And then the HE spam starts. And that's because my entire team is dead, except me and the Yadachi. Who saw that coming? I sure did. As soon as I started the match and saw everybody was all clumped together and they were going to be completely useless, I knew that we would be on our own eventually. So yeah, it's just the way it is. You can't do it all. You just can't. No matter what ship you're in, no matter how good you are in this game, you cannot possibly fight the entire enemy team. It's just the way it goes. However, you can do significant damage and make sure that people will remember that you existed in this fight. And the enemy Yamato over there can definitely attest to the fact that I've existed in this fight. Not to mention the enemy Alabama, the enemy Bismarck, and the enemy Wichita that we fought as well. Now, we do manage to pretty much negate everything from the Yamato there, and now he is full-on broadside in front of us, begging for deletion as we get set on fire multiple times, taking actual armor piercing from the right as well. We finish off the enemy Yamato, we go down ourselves, and that leaves the enemy destroyer, 2 cruisers, and a battleship for our Yadachi to potentially carry. We finished the game with 204,000 damage done, and it wasn't even close. This game is over. You got 2 cruisers against him, and both of them are fully capable of finding and killing the Yadachi in quick succession. So you can't really blame the Yadachi here. He's going in, he's attacking, he's trying to make a headway towards the base and potentially catch these cruisers off guard. They're not going to be expecting it. However, torping cruisers is not exactly easy. And for a moment, it looked like that Kutuzov was going to run right into the torps, and then he realizes they're there and he turns back. So then, of course, Yadachi opens fire because why prolong the inevitable? He dodged you, he's about to detect you anyway, might as well just start killing him. And unfortunately for him, he's not long for this world. And as you can see, I was looking in, just checking to see who all was in the match, and good God, man, there was not a whole lot of help from this team. We did everything we could. 204,000 damage, top of the leaderboard, 1,500 base XP, and a loss, and nobody else on the team really got a whole heck of a lot of anything. And that's how it goes sometimes. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.